Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is the sine rule, within which we're going to be doing some practice today. If you haven't watched my sine rule explanation video yet, pause right here, check the link in the description below, go understand the concept first, and then come back for solving. To begin with, today's question is this is a triangle ABC, and as you can see, B is 45 degrees, AD is 6 centimeter, DC is 6 centimeter, and angle C is 40 degrees. And the question says calculate the length AC, and the part B says calculate length BD. So AC, which means the A part is calculate the length of AC. This is my length AC. So I gotta find this. Now, before we jump on to how to be finding AC, one thing that you need to notice is that this is 6 centimeter and this one is also 6 centimeter, which means that if the two sides are equal, this is an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two equal sides, and if two sides of an isosceles triangle are equal, then two angles are also equal. For example, if this is x degrees, then this is also x degrees, which means that if this length is 6 and this one is 6 and the angle associated with one of the length is 40 degrees, this means that the angle associated with the other 6 centimeter is also 40 degrees. So this is one thing that's important for solving this particular question. And now, keeping in mind that we're dealing with sine rule, and sine rule has something like this, that when we have two lengths and two angles, we use the sine rule, which says sine capital A upon small a equals sine capital B upon small b. Now, whatever is my sine capital A, or perhaps my capital A could be any angle that I'm taking, but whichever angle I'm taking, the small a always has to be the length right opposite to that. So, which means if I want to find my AC, I would need the angle that's right opposite to that length. That means I need angle D, which I do not have right now. But it's pretty simple to find it out because I already have two angles right here, that is 40 and 40. And we must know that in a triangle, the three angles are equal to 180 degrees, which means if I add up my 40 degree and my 40 degree, and if I subtract it from 180, I'm going to be getting my angle D. So 40 plus 40 gives me 80, and if I do 180 minus 80, then my angle D is going to be equal to 100 degrees, which means this angle D right here is 100 degrees. So perhaps I have found my angle D, and the length that is right opposite to that is the one that's missing, which is AC. So I could write it down like that, sine 100 over my length A. Now either you can write it as A, or maybe you could give it another variable such as X or Y or Z, anything that you like, or you could just keep it as AC. I'm going to be keeping it AC, and then is equal to sine b over small b. So that one I could take any of my angle. Now, whichever 40 degrees I take, the length opposite to that is 6 centimeter. So I can just simply write sine 40 over 6. Now, one thing that you should know is that whenever you have a denominator that is unknown, it's always best practice to cross multiply and get rid of the denominators so that it's just easier to solve and you don't get confused in the end. So 6 is in division with the sine 40. When it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. Similarly, AC is in division with the sine 100. It goes to the other side, turns into multiplication. So I'm just going to do 6 times sine 100 equals AC times sine 40. Now, first thing, I'm going to be doing 6 times sine 100. Grab your scientific calculators, make sure they're set on degrees, and then you write 6 times sine 100, which gives you something like this. It's always good practice to keep it to 2 to 3 decimal places while you are solving the question, while it's in progress, and then in the end, you can just round off. So I'm going to be writing 5.9088 equals AC sine 40. Now, if I want to find out what my AC is, I need to isolate it. With isolating it, I mean that I need to make AC the subject, or perhaps whatever is attached with the AC needs to go to the other side. So the sine 40 has to go to the other side. Now the sine 40 is in multiplication with AC. When it goes to the other side, it turns into division, which means I'm just going to do 5.9088 divided by sine 40, and that is going to give me my AC. So if I again put it up on my scientific calculator, make sure it is set on degrees, and 5.9088 divided by sine 40 gives me 9.19. Or I can just simply round it off to one decimal place, so my AC becomes 9.2 centimeter. So this is my answer. Part A is solved, and I have this length AC as 9.2. Now let me just get rid of all of that. And here, as you can see, this length is 9.2 centimeter. This one we already know was 40 degrees. This one we know was 100 degrees. Now, the next part says calculate the length BD. Now again, if they're asking for BD, now this is my length BD. And as you can see, one of the angles is given to me, and the length right opposite to that is 6 centimeter. One length is missing, and with this length, I will be having this angle up there, that is the angle A right there. But as you can see, this angle A is missing. Now, how do I first of all find my angle A? For that, I need to check out, is there any other angle that's easier to find? Then yes, this angle D over this side is easy to find. Why is it easy to find? Because as you can see, this is a straight line. And it is an angle property that angles on a straight line are always equal to 180 degrees, which means that if there is a specific angle that is going somewhere like that and it is 100 degrees, the whole thing is 180 degrees, and from that, if I remove the 100 degrees, then I will be left with this part of the angle. That means I'm just going to be doing 180 minus 100, which is 80 degrees, and that is my angle for this side. So this 80 plus this 100 would give me a 180. Again, not to forget, angles on a straight line are always equal to 180. That is why I'm getting 80 degrees here, because 180 minus this 100 right here gives me 80 degrees. So now that I have my 45 and my 80, now again the third angle is missing, which I have to find because I need to solve the length for BD. So for the BD, I definitely need my angle A. And for that, since I have 45 and 80, so again, keeping in mind that angles in a triangle are always equal to 180 degrees, I can just simply do 45 plus 80, and then whatever answer you get, once you subtract it from 180, you're just going to get your answer. So 45 plus 80 gives me a 125, and if I do 180 minus this 125, that is going to give me 55 degrees, which means that this angle A right here is 55 degrees. And now comes the important part, that is that if I have two lengths and two angles, I'm going to be using the sine rule, which says sine A upon A equals sine B upon B. So if I'm taking my A as 45 and the length right opposite to that is 6 centimeter, so I'm just going to write down sine 45 over 6, and that is going to be equal to the sine b, which I'm taking as 55 because I have to find this length BD. So I'm going to write sine b as my sine 55 upon, I could just keep this as BD. And now again, since my BD is unknown, it's just better that I take it on the other side and get rid of the denominators. So when I do that, because BD is in division with the sine 55, it goes to the other side, turns into multiplication, and we have BD times sine 45. And then when 6 is going to the other side, similar thing happens, that 6 has to be multiplied because it's in division with the sine 45. It goes to the other side, turns into multiplication, and we have 6 times sine 55. So I'm going to be solving 6 times sine 55 first, and this is what I get. So I have to make sure that my calculator is set on degrees, and then sine 55, bracket close, times 6 gives me 4.9149, and then I'm just going to write it down, 4.9149. And now that I have to find my BD, I will need to isolate my BD or make BD the subject. And for that, I need to take everything that's attached with the BD to the other side. Now, the sine 45 is in multiplication with the BD, goes to the other side, the state changes, it turns into division, and then 4.9149 has to be divided by sine 45. And that is going to give me my BD in the end. So if I do that on my scientific calculator again, as you can see, 4.9149 divided by sine 45, make sure your calculator is set on degree, and then my answer is 6.95. So BD is equal to 6.95 centimeter. Therefore, my answer is 6.95, or I could just also round it off to 7 centimeter, whatever you like. And mostly the question specifies that how do they want their answer? Do they want it as a whole number or some decimal places, or mostly they want it as three significant figures. So according to that, you're going to set up your answer, which means that my BD is 6.95 centimeter. So that's pretty much it. This is how you solve the question. If you have any questions, any confusions, you can drop them down in the comment section below. And you are also more than welcome to drop down your suggestions, any topics that you want to study, anything that you would like to know more. Just drop them down. And see you in the next video. And thank you so much for watching Easy Learn. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.